Okay, so now that we have a collection, let's go ahead and put something in it. So we have some starter data here. So our get playlists is returning two things. It's returning an all videos playlist, and it's also returning a list of playlists. So what I want to start with is the videos in this list of all videos, this playlist that contains all videos. So let's go back here. And eventually what I'm going to have is a method called rebuild data. And then I'm going to have a separate interface that just rebuilds the data. And you want to have this too, because it makes your life easier when you're doing development, if you can just reset the database to a known good state that has some starter data in it that you can experiment with. And because you will definitely mess up your data periodically. So towards that end, I'm going to define a class method called rebuild data. And what it's going to do is it's going to start by calling get playlists. So right now this is still in database, so this is fine. So we're going to do all videos, comma, and all playlists equals cls dot get playlists. And I might change that at some point, what I call that. So for video in all videos, I'm going to print videos, or video. So let's just do that to start with. And then in the UI folder, I'm going to make a new Python file called rebuild database. And generally speaking, none of the code in your UI folder should talk directly to stuff in your data layer. It should all go through the logic class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually store this thing on playlist, at least for now. So I'm going to say from playlist import playlist, and then if name is main, then I'm going to call playlist dot rebuild data. And then in my playlist class at the bottom, this is going to be a static method because it's not going to access any class properties. I'm going to import database, and I'm going to return database.rebuild data, which at least for now is not actually going to return anything, but I think that's fine for now. So for the database, I already have the rebuild method. So now if I run this rebuild database method, it should print all of the videos. So no module name playlist because I forgot I was in a separate package. So this is logic.playlist. And then in playlist, this is going to be, that already is database.database, so data.database. Good, okay. So there's the videos. And then I want to store these videos in my videos collection. So what you have to do, you can't just store Python objects in a database because Python objects include stuff that is beyond the scope of what MongoDB can store. It actually contains methods, which are code. And you can't store Python code in a MongoDB database because MongoDB is like sort of a universal database. So what we want to do basically is convert all of these video objects into dictionaries that we can store directly in a collection. And in order to do that, we're going to implement a method called toDict on our music video class. And then since the dictionaries are going to be a little bit different, have different contexts for performance video, we're also going to implement a toDict method for performance video, which does everything that a music video toDict method does, plus some additional stuff for the performance. So music video, and then I'm going to put this right after the constructor because these are going to be related. So there's going to be a cluster of things that have to do with converting videos into dictionaries and converting dictionaries back into videos and calling the constructor for the class and so on. So this is going to be toDict. And all it's going to do is it's going to return a dictionary. And then for each of these properties, I'm going to want to have the appropriate property from the object. So artist is going to be self.artist, and title is self.title, URL is self.url, year is self.year, oops, forgot the comma, and then note is self.note. And then I don't need to have that map because that map gets updated when I make a new music video object. So this is not everything I need, but it's most of what I need, and it's enough to get started and see what happens. And then let's also do one for performance video. So for performance video, I'm going to have a toDict method as well. So this is just a regular toDict method. And it's going to return a dictionary, but what it's going to start with is actually the dictionary that gets returned by music video. So it's going to inherit all that stuff. So I'm going to say dict is equal to super, which is self taken as an object of the parent class, dot toDict. And then to this dictionary, I'm going to add location, which is self.location, and also performance date, which is self.performance date. And then I'm going to return dict. So basically do everything you would do if this was a regular music video and then add these two additional properties. So now I have a method called toDict that works for both music video and performance video, which means that in my database code here, when I'm looping through these, I don't need to know which is which. So what I want to do is I want to take this list of videos, in all videos, and I want to turn it into a list of dictionaries. So I'm going to call that video dicts equals, and then I'm going to use a list comprehension for that. So for each video in all videos, I'm going to return video.toDict for video in all videos. So it's going to loop each video in this playlist. It's going to convert it into a dictionary, and then it's going to return a list of dictionaries. And then this list of dictionaries I can store directly into my collection. So that's going to be cls.videos collection, and then insert many will take a list of documents and insert all of the documents into the collection. So I just pass in video dicts. Okay, so now I'm going to execute rebuild database, and let's see what happens. So if we have connection issues, this is probably the first thing that's actually going to cause us to see that connection issue. So none type object has no attribute insert many. So videos, because I forgot to call connect. So I'm going to call the connect method here. And then, okay, so I got no errors. So now let's scooch back over to Atlas, and I'm going to go back to my database here at the top, and I'm going to browse collections, and let's see what we have. So since we said that we wanted to learn MongoDB, we actually got some starter data that you can dig around in if you're interested in it. It's got some movie data that you can play around with, and there's actually, they do online trainings for MongoDB, which is kind of fun. But I'm going to go right to my music box collection, music box database, and I have a videos collection here. And so here's the content. So there's 4 documents in this collection. And the first document is Bruce Springsteen's Blinded by the Light. And then the second document is Manfred Mann's Earth Band, Blinded by the Light. And the third one, so this is interesting because this is actually a performance video because it has a location and a performance date. And this is Bruce Springsteen, Because the Night, performance in 1978 in Houston. And then finally, Patti Smith, Because the Night. So my collection has the right stuff, but you'll notice that there's this ID column, which I didn't specify in my to-dict method. So what MongoDB does is each document that you store in a collection has a key value, which is guaranteed to be unique. And if you don't assign it a key value yourself, MongoDB will automatically create this value using an algorithm that includes like when it was created and a prefix that's common to the collection and an incrementing number. So it's pretty much guaranteed to be unique. And it's a binary data type called an object ID, which is just a special type that MongoDB defines. But you can use just regular plain text for an ID if you want. You can specify your own value. All you have to do is include a value for _ID in your document before you store it. So we're going to do that. That's going to be the first thing we do is in our all videos need to have an ID. And the value of _ID is going to be self.getKey. Now you'll notice self.getKey is going to do something different for a music video than for a performance video. And that's exactly what we want. So let's go ahead and rerun rebuild database. And we didn't get any error. And now if I reload this, click on videos again, and then scroll to the top. Actually, let me reload this. So I'm going to reload this page. And now if I look at the videos collection, this is interesting. So now it says 1 of 8. So let's look at what we got. So this was the one from before with the object ID that was auto-generated by MongoDB, and I have 4 of those. And then this one is the one with the ID I specified. So what it did was, since the ID value did not match the original ID value, I got a second copy. So I have 2 copies of this document, one with the ID I specified and one with an ID that MongoDB auto-generated. So what I need to do is make sure that I remove all the old documents before I add the new ones again. So this one's a regular video, so it just has the artist and the title. And then if I scroll down some more, that one's just a regular plain one. This one, however, is a live performance, and you'll see it has artist and title at location on date. So basically it's seamless. It gets the right key value whether it's a regular video or performance video without me having to specify that in the code for rebuild data. Now that was one thing I need, and then the other thing I need is later on I'm going to need to take this document and I need to turn it back into either a music video or a performance video. And I could do that by looking at, well, does it have a location and a performance date? But an easier way is just to add a type property to the document that says what type of thing it is. So what I'm going to do here is my toDict method for music video, I'm going to include type, which is music video. And then in my performance video, I'm going to override that value. So this one's going to say type is equal to performance video. And actually, I think I want to put this right after that. All right, so now if I run it, I'm going to end up with 12 documents. Oh, okay, so this time I got an error because I was trying to add two documents that had the same key value. So when you try to do that, MongoDB gives you an error. So specifically, batch op errors occurred, full error, write errors, index code, blah, error message, and then here's the important bit. Error 11,000, duplicate key, and then error, duplicate key error. So two documents with the same key. The collection was musicbox.videos, and then the index ID dupe key was this value, ID Bruce Springsteen Blinded by the Light. So I already had a document in the collection called that, and I tried to add a new one. And so that's considered an error because you can't have two documents with the same key. So let's fix that. So I'm going to go back to my rebuild data. And after I've connected to the database, the first thing I'm going to do is drop both of my collections and then remake them. You could actually delete all the documents as well, but I think it's safer to just drop the collection because I know I'm rebuilding it from scratch. So this is going to be cls.videos collection.drop, and then cls.videos collection equals, and then I'm going to copy this from my connect method because I want to make sure that it matches exactly. So I'm going to copy both of those and then paste them in here. And then this one's going to be cls.playlistscollection.drop. So these remake both collections, and that's worth documenting. So remake both collections. Okay, so now if I run it, it should work without an error. And it does. And then if I go here, so now I have 4 documents again, and I have my ID, I have my type, music video, performance video, that includes location and performance date, and music video.